What's going on, ladies and gents? Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking three pretty common household items, cotton balls, petroleum jelly, and what I like to use, straws, to create this. What this is basically a sealed waterproof container with a fire starter aid inside of it. That fire starter aid is basically the cotton balls, or a mixture of the cotton balls and the petroleum jelly. Then I push them into a straw, melt both ends, and completely seal it, making it completely waterproof and extremely compact. A lot of the videos you'll see out there, people use Ziploc bags. They just scoop the jelly out with Ziploc bags, throw a bunch of cotton balls in there, mix it up, and it works. And it works really well. However, from my experience, I camp a little rough, a little more out of pack, a lot of hiking and humping and stuff like that. So I had these puncture and get petroleum jelly all over the place. I like this personally. It's completely waterproof. They're really durable, really tough. And in the event that I need them, I can simply break one end or cut it open with the knife. More often cut open the knife because you need to get it out of the inside. But it's a lot more compact. I think this is a lot more durable and waterproof again. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take these cotton balls, drop them into the petroleum jelly, and mix them up to really show you how we can get a fire starting aid out of cotton balls and petroleum. Alright, so there's three things you need to make sure you have. Is the petroleum jelly needs to be 100% pure petroleum jelly, and then your cotton balls, 100% pure cotton. If it's any type of synthetic, it could hinder its ability to burn, so you don't really want to get anything other than 100% pure cotton and then 100% pure petroleum jelly. Where I like to start is I'll take my straws, I cut them down to about half. Anything longer, it gets to be a pain in the butt to pack stuff in. I just use a pair of vice grips. You can use polyp pliers, or you can probably just hold it by hand and melt the end. But I melt the end. It only takes a split second. Melts down. Excuse me. Let it cool. There we go. Now we have one sealed end of our little tube. We're leaving the other end open so we can pack that cotton petroleum jelly down the side there. I use just basic pen ink. It's what I had laying around. You could use a screwdriver if I wanted to run out to the shop. I'd grab a screwdriver and pack it in there, but I just used a little pen ink tube from the inside. So now that that's ready, now what you got to do is grab your cotton ball. Basic cotton ball, nothing fancy. And your petroleum jelly. What you want to do is, if you're going to go ahead and use like a Ziploc bag, you can just dip it in there and mush it all around. For me, because I'm using the smaller straws, I break it off into small pieces. And it's a little more time consuming, but I would think you'd want to take that for extra time to go ahead and make something do it right. But anyways, so you take your cotton, or I take my cotton, and just dip it in the petroleum jelly. Maybe get a little on your finger, wipe it in there, it doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to find a right mixture to where the cotton ball isn't completely saturated. If it's completely saturated, meaning that it's basically just cotton floating around in a big glob of Vaseline versus Vaseline covering the cotton, it's going to be very difficult. Well, not very difficult, but it's going to be difficult for you to light this, versus if you have dry cotton, you can light it and it'll go right up almost instantly. We'll do some burn examples a little later of cotton that's completely oversaturated and then cotton undersaturated, and we'll show them what the difference is and how long they burn. There's not really like a certain science behind it. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with, and as long as it doesn't completely saturate it. But you see, it takes a couple seconds to go ahead and take that cotton and shove it in there, shove it inside the straw. It's not that big of a deal. And you're going to get pretty messy. A lot of people use gloves. Gloves drive me nuts, so I don't really use them. I just use them with my hands, and I use one of these extra straws and suck it up. But yeah, if you need gloves and you're complaining about this being messy, then I don't know, building a bug out bag or campfire starter is probably not for you anyways. So you can get bigger straws. I'd like to get like the jumbo straws, go to McDonald's and jack a bunch of the really big thick ones, or go to use like a big pixie stick or something like that, because you can get a lot of cotton in each one. The more cotton you get in one, obviously, the less headache it is later on when you got to cut it open and cut 3 of these open versus cutting open just one big huge one. For the most part, the cotton burns really well and burns really long, or at least a few minutes. So I normally cut open like 2, and it seems to get a fire started unless it's like really damp, and then you got to cut a few open. But it's not the end of the world, not that big of a deal. So you can see we probably put about half of that cotton ball into one straw. Like I said earlier, it would be nice to get bigger straws, but for the sake of making the video, I wasn't able to get my hands on some big straws, so we're just going to use these little ones for now so you get the idea. And you don't have to use straws, I mean you can use anything, whatever floats your boat, whatever you got laying around the house. That's what's good about stuff like this. Everyone continues to improve upon them and make them better, make them custom fit to their ideas. Okay, so now that we got this thing pretty freaking packed full, it's pretty gross. I got some paper towels over here. It's pretty slimy, so I just use a paper towel, wipe it off. Ain't no thing. Once again, grab the pliers, crimp down on the end, grab your lighter, light it up, let it cool for a split second. If you let it go while it's still hot, what it's going to do is it's going to just open right back up, and you let that plastic cool and harden. There you go. Now it's cool and hard, and basically have one cotton ball in each one of these half straws. Alright, so here we are at the Tactical Hillbilly testing grounds, aka my barbecue. We have very light petroleum jelly, what I think is a decent amount, and then overly saturated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to light all these. Obviously I can't light them all at the same time, so there'll be a few seconds in between, but I'm going to light them all, and you can see how they burn differently. Too light, just the right amount, and way too much. Alright, so here we go. We'll start our timer. It's going. So our light one's burning. Our medium one's going. Could be going a little better. Oh man. There we go. Now it's going. And then overly saturated. You can see ours is there's just so much Vaseline and petroleum jelly on it. It just takes a while to get going. It'll eventually burn through and it'll be all right. Alright, so at about 1 minute you can tell that our very light petroleum jelly is already pretty much done. These two are still going strong, however, look at the difference between the well mixed one, pretty good ratio, and then the oversaturated. The oversaturated is barely burning compared to the one that's mixed pretty well. So you can see you're getting a much larger flame out of not oversaturating that cotton with that petroleum jelly. Alright, 2 minutes, still going pretty strong. Hardly any flame, still going very strong between the both of those. Alright, 3 minutes. The well mixed one looks like it's starting to peter out. It's probably burned more of the cotton than this completely saturated one has. So this is actually something I didn't expect. The pretty saturated one is maintaining a little longer burn, it looks like, but overall the well mixed one was a much larger flame. Alright, that's about 5 minutes. There's still a very small flame left on the well mixed one, very small flame left on the completely saturated one. So I guess it's a pretty good race between the well saturated and the well mixed. Up to you whether or not you want to have a larger flame for a short amount of time or a pretty constant flame for a longer amount of time. But like, we're still producing flame off each one of these. They're still pretty toasty, and we're well over 5 minutes right now, 5 minutes 30 seconds. And that was not even one full cotton ball for each one of those. It's probably like a half a cotton ball. So there you go, you pretty much saw that a half a cotton ball burned for easily 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. We were able to fit a half a cotton ball in each one of these. So just right here we're looking at 10 minutes of a decent sized flame to help get a fire started. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. And if you have any ideas for your future shows, please let us know. We're going to try to build a lot of momentum with this new channel. So we'd like to get the audience involved and really tailor everything to what you guys would like to see. So stay tuned, subscribe, and then hopefully we get some new videos coming out within the next week. Thank you.